Hello, I'm Emma Praženicova. Today I'm going to interview our English lecturer, Mr. Sweeney. If you could choose to do one job for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Well, I've always wanted to own a coffee shop. A small coffee shop where you can buy nice coffee, get some cakes. And I don't want to work in there doing lots of things, but I want to be the boss. So I get to drink coffee all day, talk to people, and just generally have a nice, relaxing job.
What does living life to the fullest mean to you?
It's a really good question. I guess living life to the fullest is to reach your maximum potential for you as a person. And as a Christian, I think that would be to live closer to God, doing the things that God wants you to do in your life.
Is it better for a person to have a broad knowledge base or a deep one?
Oh, for me, I think I prefer to have a broad knowledge base, to know lots of things, and to be able to link those things together to get the widest possible understanding of life and things that are happening. Sometimes if you have a really narrow knowledge base, then you don't understand how things link together, and that doesn't work so well for me.
If you could travel to any time period, which would it be and why?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think I'd like to go to see the dinosaurs because I'm a bit scared of dinosaurs. But I would definitely like to go back to the time when Jesus was alive to see what he looked like and what he was like. But also castles. I like the medieval times with the castles. I'd love to go inside and see what it's like to live in a castle.
What is your opinion on Brexit?
Oh, Brexit. I don't like Brexit. I don't like watching anything on TV about Brexit because I think the whole situation is unnecessary and we didn't need to have a vote on Brexit in the first place. So I would like to get rid of Brexit, but I can't. And so I would just like the British government to make a decision and to do something quickly.
What was the biggest culture shock when you came to Slovakia?
Oh, the biggest culture shock most definitely was the winter. It was coming to Slovakia, and the first winter there was so much snow, and I had to learn to drive my car in the snow, which just isn't easy because in England we only have one day of snow a year. And when you have a snow day, you don't go to work, you don't go to school, you don't drive your car, you stay at home and you build snowmen. So having a long winter in Slovakia was a big culture shock.
How do the British perceive the royal family?
Or it depends really on who you are and what you think. Some people like the royal family, some people don't like the royal family. At the moment, I would say it's more positive towards the royal family because people like the young royal people like William, Kate and Harry and Meghan. So it's probably more positive than negative, but I think most people like the Queen.
In a parallel universe, how would a different version of you look like?
That's a really tricky question, but I guess I chose to go to university to do sports studies to start with, and then I changed my mind and I went to do theology. So if I had chosen to do sports studies at university, maybe I could have done some professional sport, or I could have worked as a personal instructor in sports areas rather than teaching English.
Which movie do you think is overrated?
Titanic. I don't like Titanic film. I think it's overrated because everyone knows the story. Everyone knows that the boat is going to sink, and I just think it was overrated.
What should be taught in schools but isn't?
Oh, that's a difficult question. In Slovak schools, you don't really have any drama. And in English schools, we have drama lessons where you can be creative, you can express yourself, you can learn how to perform. And I think maybe in the Slovak school, it would be good to have a drama lesson as well.
Do you think that we'll be able to live on Mars in less than 10 years?
I don't think we'll be able to live on Mars in less than 10 years. Maybe we have technology to be able to get people there and different things like that. But I think there's so many things happening in the world that it just won't happen in 10 years' time.
In your opinion, how will technology change in 100 years?
Oh, I really don't know how technology will change in 100 years, because if we go back 100 years ago, or even less than that, people thought things would change much, much quicker. People thought that we would be in space and living in space with flying cars, but we're not. So I think in 100 years we'll probably still be on this planet, and I really don't know what will happen.
Which part of London do you like the most?
My favourite part of London is probably, I don't know, because I come from London. It's really difficult because where I come from, I obviously like a lot. It's not the most beautiful part, it's a suburb of London. If I could go to the centre of London, I love Covent Garden because it's great for tourists. There's lots of good things happening there, great shops and coffee shops and bars that you can go to. I also like in southwest London, you have Kew Gardens, which is a really special place with lots of plants and big open space. It's also close to Wimbledon tennis as well. But I cannot say one part of London is my favourite. I come from Stanmore, so maybe Stanmore.